There are moments in life when the weight of the world feels almost unbearable. Moments when sadness lingers in the heart, when stress presses against the mind, and when hope seems far away. In times like these, it is natural to ask, how can I find happiness when everything around me feels uncertain, heavy, or painful? In times like these, it is natural to ask, how can I find happiness when everything around me feels uncertain, heavy, or painful? The answer, surprisingly, does not lie in escaping life's challenges. It lies in facing them differently, in changing how we think, how we respond, and how we choose to live, no matter what happens outside of us. For thousands of years, people have searched for wisdom to guide them through suffering. Among the many traditions of thought, one stands out for its clarity and practicality. A philosophy born in ancient Greece, carried into Rome, and practiced by emperors, slaves, and ordinary men and women alike. That philosophy is Stoicism. Today, we will journey together through Stoic wisdom. Drawn from the words of three of its greatest voices: Seneca, the Roman statesman and writer; Epictetus, the freed slave who became a teacher of freedom in the truest sense; and Marcus Aurelius, the emperor who ruled an empire yet struggled with his own sorrows and doubts. From them, we will learn three powerful lessons. First, the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. Second, the art of acceptance, flowing with life's current instead of resisting it. And third, the daily practices of reflection that build resilience, helping us endure sadness and stress while discovering peace of mind. This is not abstract theory. This is philosophy for life. For your life, here and now, in this very moment. So let us begin. Let us step into the wisdom of the Stoics and discover how, even in difficult times, happiness can still be found. The first and most important teaching of Stoicism is deceptively simple. There are two kinds of things in the world: those we can control, and those we cannot. Epictetus, in his small but powerful book, The Enchiridion, begins with this exact point. He writes, "Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and, in a word, whatever are not our own actions." Take a moment to let that sink in. According to Epictetus, the only true possessions we ever have are our own thoughts, our choices, and our actions. Everything else, our health, our status, our wealth, even the way people see us, is not fully ours. We can influence them, yes. We can care for our health, work to earn money, or cultivate friendships. But in the end, whether we keep these things is not entirely up to us. Illness strikes, markets collapse, friends change, life shifts beyond our control. Now here is the tragedy of human life. Most of our stress, sadness, and frustration comes from the constant attempt to control the uncontrollable. Think about it. How much time do you spend worrying about what others think of you? How often do you try to change someone else's opinion, or obsess over how the future might unfold, or replay past events, wishing they had gone differently? Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." And he was right. Much of our suffering is not born from the actual event, but from the stories we tell ourselves about it, the endless what-ifs, the fears of rejection, the longing for certainty. Imagine carrying two bags. In one bag are your choices, your character, your efforts. This bag is light, manageable, entirely yours. In the other bag are the judgments of others, the turns of fortune, the events you cannot predict. This bag is heavy, and yet most people insist on carrying both at once. They strain under the weight until life feels unbearable. But what if you could set the heavy bag down? What if you could choose to carry only what is truly yours? That is the Stoic path. Not to abandon responsibility, not to stop caring, but to focus your energy only where it can truly make a difference. On your own mind, your own actions, your own virtue. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor surrounded by politics, war, and intrigue, reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about the freedom in this idea. You may not control the storm, but you control how you steer your ship. You may not control whether others love you, but you control whether you act with love. You may not control the insults thrown your way, but you control whether you let them poison your soul. This teaching is not meant to deny reality. The Stoics did not say, "Do not care about health or family or justice." They cared deeply, but they understood that clinging to outcomes we cannot guarantee is the source of endless misery. By focusing only on what we can truly govern, our inner choices, we free ourselves from slavery to the uncontrollable. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus, they all return to this truth again and again because it is the foundation of resilience. When sadness visits, when stress weighs heavy, stop and ask yourself, is this within my control, or is it not? If it is within my control, what is the best action I can take? If it is not, how can I practice acceptance and let go? This shift in perspective does not erase hardship, but it transforms how you carry it. Instead of being crushed by a burden you cannot lift, you learn to carry only what belongs to you. And in that moment, even in difficulty, you taste freedom. Imagine standing in a river. The water is cold, powerful, and constant. You push against the current with all your strength, but the river does not stop. It does not bend to your will. No matter how hard you fight, the water keeps flowing. This is how many of us live. We resist what is happening. We fight against reality, and we exhaust ourselves in the process. The Stoics taught us another way. They taught us acceptance. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, lived a life that was anything but easy. He lost several of his children to illness. He spent years leading military campaigns far from home. He dealt with betrayal, corruption, and the constant pressure of ruling the world's greatest empire. And yet, in his private notes, what we now call the Meditations, he reminded himself again and again to accept life as it is. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Acceptance, in Stoicism, does not mean surrender. It does not mean giving up or becoming passive. Instead, it means conserving our energy for what truly matters. It means saying, "This is what the world has given me today. Now, how will I respond?" Seneca compared adversity to fire. He said, "Fire tests gold. Suffering tests brave men." Think about that image. When fire meets straw or paper, it destroys them instantly. But when fire meets iron, it strengthens it, hardens it, makes it ready for use. In the same way, hardships can either break us or forge us into something greater. The difference lies not in the event itself, but in our response. Consider illness. To fight against the fact of illness, to rage against the body's fragility, is to waste energy. Instead, the Stoic asks, how can I practice patience, courage, and resilience through this trial? Consider betrayal. To obsess endlessly over why someone wronged you is to hand them your peace of mind. Instead, the Stoic asks, what can I learn here? How can I guard myself wisely in the future, while also letting go of bitterness? Consider loss. To deny that loss is part of life is to live in illusion. Instead, the Stoic remembers, all things are temporary. To have loved, to have known, to have experienced, this itself is a gift, even if it did not last. Acceptance is not weakness, it is strength. It is the ability to look reality in the eye without fear, without denial, and without despair. Marcus Aurelius advised himself to treat every obstacle as material for growth. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, every difficulty can be transformed into fuel. A setback in your work becomes a chance to practice persistence. An insult becomes a chance to practice self-control. A tragedy becomes a chance to practice compassion and perspective. Life will give us storms. That is not in our control. But whether we stand firm, whether we learn to use the storm to strengthen our roots, that is always in our hands. Acceptance is like a martial art of the soul. Instead of meeting every hardship with resistance, we absorb the blow, redirect it, and grow stronger. We stop wasting energy on "why me?" and begin asking, "what now?" And this is how, even in the middle of stress, sadness, or difficulty, happiness begins to appear. Happiness not as giddy excitement, but as a calm steadiness. A peace that says, "Yes, life is hard, but I am not broken. I am learning. I am becoming stronger." Stoicism is not simply a set of ideas to admire. It is a discipline to be practiced, a way of life to be lived every day. Just as an athlete trains the body, the Stoic trains the mind. Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius all gave us exercises that anyone, even today, can practice to build resilience and find calm. Let us look at 3 of the most powerful. 1. The evening review. Every night before sleep, Seneca examined his day. In one of his letters, he wrote, "When the light has been taken away and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day. I go back over what I have done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. This practice is not about guilt or punishment. It is about gentle self-awareness. At night, when the noise of the world quiets, ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I fall short? How can I improve tomorrow?" This nightly reflection turns mistakes into lessons. Instead of carrying regret, you transform it into wisdom. Instead of being blind to your own flaws, you shine a light on them. And with awareness comes the power to change. Think of it as a conversation with yourself, a quiet moment of honesty that prepares you for growth. 2. The morning preparation. Epictetus suggested beginning each day with preparation. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, 'Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness.'" At first, this might sound pessimistic. Why begin the day expecting trouble? But Epictetus understood something powerful. Disappointment comes from unrealistic expectations. If we expect the world to always be kind, smooth, and fair, then every hardship feels like a shock. But if we prepare ourselves, if we remind ourselves that obstacles are part of the natural order, then we are never surprised. This practice makes us stronger. Instead of saying, "Why me?" we say, "Here is the test I expected. Here is the chance to practice patience, to practice courage, to practice wisdom." Each morning, remind yourself, life will not go exactly as planned. People will not always behave as you hope. But you are prepared. You are ready to respond with reason, with calm, with strength. 3. The view from above. Finally, Marcus Aurelius often practiced what modern Stoics call the view from above. He would imagine rising above his city, above Rome, above the earth itself. He pictured himself looking down from the stars, seeing nations and empires as small dots, human lives as brief flashes of light. From this perspective, how small our daily worries appear. The insult, the traffic, the missed opportunity, all of them shrink when seen from the vastness of the cosmos. Marcus wrote, "Consider the whole of time and the whole of substance, and how small a part of it is yours." This exercise is humbling, but also liberating. It reminds us that our personal struggles, though painful, are not the end of the world. They are threads in a larger tapestry, waves in a vast ocean. When you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to step back. Close your eyes and imagine yourself floating high above, looking down at the earth, at your city, at your life. From that view, perspective returns, and with perspective comes peace. These three practices, the evening review, the morning preparation, and the view from above, are simple, but their power grows with repetition. Like exercise for the body, their effects compound over time. With them, you train your mind to be calm, steady, and resilient. You transform stress into preparation, mistakes into wisdom, and sadness into perspective. They are the daily tools by which Stoicism becomes not just philosophy, but a lived way of happiness, even in difficult times. Now that we have explored the core principles of Stoicism and the daily practices of reflection, let us ask a vital question. How can we live this philosophy today? After all, we are not Roman emperors nor ancient philosophers writing letters in candlelight. We live in a world of smartphones, constant notifications, financial pressures, climate concerns, and global uncertainty. Does Stoicism still apply here, in the 21st century? The answer is yes, perhaps more than ever. Think about the modern condition. Our minds are under siege from information overload. Social media encourages constant comparison. Work and financial struggles create stress. Relationships are strained by unrealistic expectations. The world seems to move faster than our hearts can follow. Yet the wisdom of the Stoics speaks directly to these challenges. Envy and social comparison. When you scroll through social media, you see highlight reels of other people's lives, vacations, successes, celebrations, and often you compare yourself thinking, "Why not me? Why am I behind?" Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Happiness does not come from measuring yourself against others. It comes from the inner dialogue of your mind, from choosing thoughts that are healthy, balanced, and free from envy. Instead of saying, "They have more than me," try saying, "I am grateful for what I do have. I control my character, my choices, my integrity, and these matter more than possessions." Financial stress and job loss. Imagine losing a job or struggling with money. The anxiety is real. The uncertainty weighs heavy. Epictetus would remind us, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. The event itself, losing a job, is not the true cause of suffering. The real pain comes from the story we attach to it. I am worthless. I am doomed. I will never recover. But what if we change the judgment? What if we said, "This is difficult? Yes. But it is also an opportunity to rebuild, to redirect, to discover new strength." The Stoic does not deny hardship. They simply refuse to let hardship define their soul. Relationships and expectations. In relationships, whether romantic, family, or friendships, much suffering comes from trying to control others. We want people to act as we wish, to love us as we hope, to never disappoint us. But Epictetus was clear. Other people's choices are not ours to command. Instead, The Stoic focuses on what is within their control: to love sincerely, to act with kindness, to set healthy boundaries when needed. Beyond that, they release the need to control. When you accept that others will act according to their own nature, you stop being constantly wounded by disappointment. You find peace in your own integrity, regardless of the behavior of others. Facing uncertainty. Perhaps the greatest challenge of our modern world is uncertainty. We worry about the future, the economy, the climate, the safety of our loved ones. And yet Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. In other words, the future is not here yet. When it arrives, you will face it with the same strength you are building right now. Why waste today in endless worry about tomorrow? Why suffer twice? Once in imagination and once in reality. The Stoic way is to prepare wisely, but to live fully in the present, to do your duty today, to strengthen your mind today, and to let tomorrow come when it comes. Every day, stress finally. Think about the small stresses of daily life: the traffic jam, the rude comment, the broken appliance. These moments can ruin a day, if we let them. Marcus Aurelius practiced perspective. He reminded himself, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Most daily frustrations are small in the grand scale of life, yet we magnify them by reacting with anger, bitterness, or impatience. Next time something small goes wrong, pause, breathe, ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? Most often, the answer is no. And in that moment of perspective, stress loses its grip. This is how Stoicism lives in our time. It is not about rejecting technology or withdrawing from society. It is about carrying Stoic wisdom within you, like armor for the soul. When envy arises, remember gratitude. When stress comes, remember perspective. When loss occurs, remember acceptance. And always, return to the fundamental truth: what is in my control and what is not. The world outside may be chaotic, but the world within can be calm. And from that calm center, true happiness grows. We have walked together through the wisdom of Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. We have seen how Stoicism offers us 3 essential lessons for happiness in difficult times: to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot, to accept reality as it comes, using every hardship as material for growth, to practice daily reflection, at night, in the morning, and through perspective, so that we train our minds for resilience. These are not distant ideas. They are tools for everyday life, tools you can use right now, in this very moment. Seneca reminds us to examine ourselves with honesty. Epictetus reminds us to guard our judgments and focus only on what is ours. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to see the world from above, to embrace the flow of life, and to keep calm in the face of storms. Together, their voices echo across centuries, telling us that happiness is not about escaping hardship. It is about transforming hardship into strength. You see, the world will always give us trials. None of us can avoid sadness, loss, or stress, but we can choose how we meet them. We can meet them with despair, or we can meet them with wisdom. The Stoic path teaches us that happiness is not the absence of suffering. It is the presence of inner peace. It is the calm of knowing that, no matter what life brings, you are free in your own mind, steady in your own heart, and guided by your own reason. So when life feels heavy, remember, carry only what is yours. Accept what is not. Reflect each day and grow stronger. And in doing so, you will find a happiness that cannot be taken away. a peace that lives within you, and a resilience that carries you through the hardest storms. This is the gift of Stoicism, the power to find happiness, even in difficult times.